How did Jerry find out about the tension between you and the Naked Cowboy?
Well, what I heard was Sharon Houston, a comic from L.A., she works for it. She said that Jerry wanted to have some comics on. So they remember me from... Jerry Springer, baby.
Welcome.
Wow.
Are you trying to sit here?
Yeah, of course. No, sit down. Yeah.
Wherever you want, Jerry.
You can sit there, Jerry.
Springer.
Welcome. Jerry Springer is here. Judge Jerry
Thanks, guys.
has arrived. It's the ghost of Judge Jerry's past.
Yes.
Here on...
Yes.
What a great show it was. It was a great show, you know.
She was singing your praises about how fair you were and how good you treated her.
I remember.
And his staff, Jerry, your staff loves you so much. Whether it's Ashley or Patrice or Sharon Houston, they love you.
Well, well, I guess we ought to pay him, huh?
Yeah. And that's what I said. I said,
Very nice.
I bet he pays them well.
Yeah.
That's because you paid me well.
Yeah.
And no, you did, and that was like.
I'll have to speak to the accountant.
Jerry, of course, you remember Sandy Kane from the case of the Naked Cowboy versus the Naked Cowgirl.
Yes.
Yeah, that you had to.
Who had the right to
be in Times Square?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like at some point Judge Jerry
I have these on.
took. Yeah, no, you didn't have them on. Judge Jerry did take a turn into more kind of suiting towards the old Jerry Springer show, and that's when we found our friend Sandy Kane involved.
It probably was inevitable that those were the cases that would find me.
Yeah. They find you now, right? They kind of follow you.
Yeah, I mean they're suits that are filed, so.
Yeah.
You know,
They are.
Yeah.
You filed it, didn't you?
No.
The other party.
The other guy.
You didn't file it. No, the other party filed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Naked Cowboy filed a suit?
Yeah, I mean, at
That's
some point.
Why you wouldn't be there.
That's why you were in court. Yeah, that's why you were in court.
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was all made up. Like
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, good. I have a new lawsuit.
Now, Jerry, let me ask you: Are you a lawyer? You did go to law school, right?
I graduated Northwestern.
And when what kind of law did you want to do? Did you want to be a prosecutor?
Well,
defendant?
I did. I was not a prosecutor. I was a defense attorney.
You are.
Yeah. I practiced for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a lawyer when I was in high school, but then I wound up not doing it.
Yeah.
What, high school?
That or law.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was why they said you needed to graduate high school.
Yeah.
Were you like an in-court litigator?
Yeah.
Were you good
I
at
was
it?
a trial attorney.
I'm sure he was. It's all about talking.
Yeah, I can talk.
Yeah. Hey, Jersey.
I can talk like, hey, how you doing?
I'm from Jersey. Yeah. Don't fuck
I
with
grew up
me.
in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Queens.
Yeah.
Do you remember we were talking about Times Square? Sam and I watched that special about the torso killer in Times Square. Do you remember that? It was in the 70s when there was a guy killing girls in Times Square.
Off the top of my head, I don't.
I mean,
this morning when I got up, I said, I wonder whatever happened to that guy.
No, Netflix just did a
The torso fucking killer.
It was a Netflix documentary. I'd never heard of him before, and they just did a 5-part series about the 70s in Times Square.
And it's what do you
The
think?
70s, I was already in Cincinnati.
Oh, you are?
70s,
Okay.
yeah. So when you were becoming a lawyer, is the thing like I want to be in the courtroom, I want to be trying cases like that, or is it the research part that
The truth is, I went into law. Well, my parents said, you choose, you want to be a doctor or a lawyer, and you would go either to med school or law school.
Yeah.
And I was interested in politics. I was active in the civil rights movement and the anti-war movement in the 60s. I was your basic hippie.
Uh-huh.
And so I wasn't thinking about a career at all. I just, my first job out of law school was with Bobby Kennedy. And then when he was killed, I took a job with a law firm in Cincinnati and immediately got into politics there and spent 10 years on city council and being mayor of Cincinnati.
What'd you do for Robert Kennedy? What'd you do for Robert Kennedy?
Well, it was, it's only a few months because of what happened.
Sure.
But in 1968, I was working 7 states on the college campuses to try to get the McCarthy kids to switch over to Bobby for the convention. Because at that time, the Democratic Party was split. Johnson was the president. He was going to run for re-election. And because of the war, many of us did not want him to run for re-election because we were blaming him for expanding the war. And Gene McCarthy, the senator from Minnesota, was the first one to get into the race. And then after he did well in New Hampshire, Bobby Kennedy decided, in fact, it was exactly 54 years ago today, March 16th, 1968, that Bobby Kennedy announced for president.
Oh,
Wow.
That was the beginning of an 85-day campaign.
Wow.
Because this morning I got up and I said, March 16th, what happened then?
Wow.
And I remembered that was it. And so, yeah, that's what's the beginning of the short-lived campaign. And it was an incredibly, we've never had a year like 1968 where, there's obviously, there was a lot of controversy going on with Trump and all that. There's no question. But in terms of the country just blowing up, 1968 was the year. I mean, that was the year of Vietnam. That was the year that Martin Luther King was assassinated. Then Bobby Kennedy, 2 months later, was assassinated. Then they had the riots in Chicago at the Democratic Convention. And then
JFK was.
It also feels like it was very unprecedented in
Yeah.
1968, right? Like when you see, it feels like now the idea of a lot of everything happening all at once and people being angry all the time. This is something that has been kind of simmering for years and years and years. In 1968, like that wasn't the norm.
Right. That's true. And but
Both
years, and certainly now.
Did they kill Marilyn Monroe, you think?
Who?
Because they were supposed to be Bobby Kennedy, Peter Law.
Were you involved in that?
I wasn't there.
Yes.
I wasn't there.
But you have
I
a
said,
view.
Marilyn, I can't see you tonight. What?
that's a fair. Wait, what do you think, Sandy? What do you think?
No, I think it's an interesting case because
Oh,
it keeps
yeah.
coming back, man. And I love Marilyn Monroe, and
Sure,
I'm
it's
wondering
obvious.
because she was fucking Bobby and John, and
Oh.
she was going to expose them that she had sex with them and ruin the campaign that you're talking about.
I love the idea that Jerry works for them for like as a kid
Yes.
for like a couple of months, and they're like, "We got to tell you something first. We had her. The reason she's gone. You know what we did, right?"
No.
Did you get to meet Bobby Kennedy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
What was he like?
He was wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah. He was, other than my dad, he was the biggest political influence on my life in terms of what my politics are, et cetera.
Do you think there still are politicians like that in the sense that, like, are there people now that you think people could be inspired by, or has it become such a sort
I'm
of
sure
circus?
there are,
that-
but it's so different today. In other words, strangely enough, one of the people who I disagree with on virtually every issue that ever came up, but I certainly admire her courage and her integrity, Liz Cheney. But you don't find many people like that are literally willing anymore to put country before their party.
Mm.
And so here she has literally destroyed, at least temporarily, her political career by going against Trump, which was the appropriate thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And she's paying a price for it because, the party's kicking her out, basically.
Didn't Tulsi Gabbard do that too? Kind of like not exactly what the Democrats wanted her to do.
Like on the other end of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
spectrum.
yeah.
Yeah, but it also matters what you're standing up for. And in 1968, that was done. Here you had Lyndon Johnson, who was the Democratic, our president, and who won in a landslide in 1964. And he was our president. And here we were, which was unheard of at the time, standing up to try and defeat him in the primaries for his reelection. In other words, we were putting it, in our view, country before party. So even though he's our president, we don't want him running again, and we're going to challenge him. And that's basically what Liz Cheney's doing. That, this is America. You can't have, she's basically saying you can't have someone like Trump as your president. If you want to go out.
What about
with him.
Kathy, the governor of New York? Do you like her? Do you think she's doing a good job?
Well, from a distance, because I'm not living here now.
Stanford, Connecticut, you live.
No, Sarasota, Florida.
Close, though.
We do the
Very
show.
close.
We do the show in Connecticut.
Yes, they don't do it in his house.
You don't have a courtroom in your house.
No, I'm living right behind the bench there.
No, but
got a sleeping bag underneath. And,
No, but you're always on, so I thought
Yeah, I know,
you're
yeah.
always on.
Yeah, well,
You pre-tape some of the shows, right?
Why Sarasota? Sarasota? Why?
I love the scorn.
I like Miami South Beach myself. So.
It's a nice area, Sarasota. It's supposed to be very nice.
It's gorgeous.
Not according to Sandy.
But
Yeah, why?
it's not for you.
Why? I like the weather.
No, you don't. You're gonna hate it.
It's horrible. Horrible.
That was a funny why.
You don't want to be there.
Do you like Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida?
No,
don't like him?
nothing. It's not personal.
Yeah.
I don't like his politics and
Okay.
and the censorship which they just passed this week, which is amazing. That you're not allowed either in your workplace or in schools. You're not allowed to talk about racism, white supremacy, and prejudice, and you're not allowed.
That's a good idea, though. No, I mean,
Jerry.
You're not allowed to learn about our history.
the history.
Oh, yes, yes.
See?
I'd rather have the future, not the history.
Oh.
'Cause I studied history.
Yeah. You know what? You and me, we have more history than a future.
Yeah, it's a good one, Sandy. You got to give it to Jerry on that one.
Smart man.
2 points for Jerry.
Making more money than me. All you guys are.
Yeah,
So.
Sarasota. What the fuck, Jerry?
No, why Sarasota?
Jerry, do you think sometimes to yourself, right, like you have all these great ideas and like this is what inspires you clearly. This is what gets your brains going. You like this. And this is the life, this is the world that you wanted to get into. When you're sitting there on the judge's bench, right, and you're watching Sandy Kane and the naked cowboy and his naked cowwife bickering over who can be in Times Square, do you ever think to yourself, I was meant to do more?
Yeah. Well, in fairness, not all the cases are like that. So,
Well,
okay.
I watched one other one, and our friend Mike Boschetti was being sued
we've
by
got
our...
a list of both of your friends.
Yeah.
Aaron and Gino, weren't they on
And those are the ones we call.
That's what I wondered about myself, actually, when I was like, should I know this many people that are on Judge Jerry?
No, actually.
No, you
I've
went for
always
comics. That's what Sharon said.
Yeah.
That Jerry wants comics on the show to you make it more fun. And,
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting cases.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've always kept my career separate from my politics.
Yeah,
Clearly.
Because you ruin both if you try to mix it. In other words, for 27 years doing the Crazy Show, I never once talked politics on the show. But because it would, one, my politics wouldn't be taken seriously if I did it on the show, and secondly, it would ruin the show because people aren't turning onto the show to hear what my political views are.
Do you think,
so
like,
I keep it separate?
Are you able to be friends with people? Like, because Sam and I are very opposite. Like, I'm very liberal, and he's like almost like a don't discuss evolution in schools, religious conservative.
No,
Yeah, that's not true.
I like that. I don't think you should. I'll tell you why. This is my opinion. Is
Go ahead,
because
Sandy.
no, because I
Don't
think
come to Sarasota.
this might not. I think that a lot of times, if there's a gay teacher, that sometimes they try to make people gay, and then, no, gays are like
pretty
that.
well thought
That's
out.
how I. Not that I don't like gays. I love gay people. No, I think
What are you talking about?
it's just that I think
That's your publicist. Get out, Jerry.
That I like that.
It's my agent.
I don't think.
I'm on the air now. Can I call you back? Hi, I'm actually on a radio show now. I'll call you back.
Jim
okay?
and Sam in the house, folks. Motherfuckers.
Okay. What? Isn't that funny?
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know where you are. Get out of the room,
Get
Jerry.
out. Yes, that sound is
God,
coming from
that
inside the
is
studio.
really funny. I apologize.
That's
No,
okay.
no, not at all.
I'm going to turn this
Naga.
off now.
It was actually
Very
comedically the best thing that could have happened.
But Sandy, you were saying.
Get out of there. You're ruining your
No,
career.
I think.
What do you think?
That I don't think people.
Come on, you're not thinking.
No, like you said.
Don't lie to me. Yes.
No, you just said. I never mix politics with the show.
Right.
Same thing. A teacher has their own opinions on whether they're gay or not. Don't talk to the kids about it. Just be a teacher. Teach whatever
What should
you're
they
teaching.
teach?
Yep.
Whatever the fuck they're teaching.
Yeah.
But
That's what part
why-
of an education is to not just teach how to add and how to subtract. Part of an education is to get a young person ready for the world that they're going into. So what you learn, for example, the reason we had integration in the first place is you're going to live in a multicultural world. That is reality. America is a multicultural nation. You have to learn, and it's what our Declaration of Independence is about. All men are created equal, etc. The Statue of Liberty, give me you're tired, you're hungry, you're poor. So we have to learn, and our children have to learn, and that's how we raise them, to never judge someone by what they are. You only judge people based on what they do. So you don't judge a person because they are of a particular race, of a particular religion,
right.
of a particular sexual orientation. You don't judge people like that, but you have to. So we teach our kids to understand other people, to be kind. There ought to be just one rule that we have, and that is be kind. And if you were
Where have I
kind,
heard
we
that
wouldn't
before?
pass the laws. We wouldn't pass the laws we have. You imagine if legislators, when they pass legislation, they have to, at the bottom, answer the question, what you just passed, is that kind? Are you being kind to gay people? Are you being kind to African Americans? Are you being kind to women? Are you being kind? Just why do we pass laws that make someone feel bad?
I appreciate that, and I wish you would explain that to someone across the table here.
I'm being mischaracterized this morning, Jerry.
I know you are. We had you checked before I came in.
Yeah, but be a teacher. Don't because you're gay. Don't try to manipulate kids to be gay. And I think that.
What if you had a teacher that was
Is that happening?
heterosexual? Should we not have teachers who are heterosexual?
No, I think
Why?
it's.
It's dangerous.
Aren't they making kids straight?
Yeah.
No, I think it should be kept out of the classroom. Just teach whatever you're teaching.
But if you're teaching social studies, if you're teaching American history, we have to know what we have done to people in this country so that this next generation can grow up to fix some of the problems. Let's face it, younger people today are far more open-minded. When I was a kid and we started to have television, a husband and wife had to be in separate beds.
Yeah.
Right.
You never had.
I Love Lucy.
Yeah, you never had an African American
Right.
on a. You didn't have African Americans on shows with white people unless they were the butler, unless they were, It's
Sam, hold your applause.
I'm being mischaracterized.
No.
That's
I
that's not-
apologize.
And now the white people are the butlers.
And you don't like that, Sandy?
That's wrong. If that's your job, that's your job.